You're listening to 17 Carat K-Pop. For more information about the variety of topics covered on the show, as well as my other podcast, How to Stan, visit 17caratkpop.weebly.com. And if you enjoy this episode, please consider becoming a monthly donor to support my work and allow it to continue to go on and be free for all to access for as low as 99 cents a month. Visit the Support the Show link on my site's homepage for more information. Hi everybody, and welcome back to 17 Carat K-Pop. There is a ton of news to get to, so we're just diving right into story number 1. Hyemi, previously from the group Black Swan, was revealed to have secretly been married during her time in the group. SBS reported this on August 17th. An unidentified male filed for divorce from someone who was confirmed to be Hyemi from Black Swan. Now it's been publicized that their marriage was legally registered in June of 2020, before Black Swan's official debut in October 2020. Hyemi did leave the group a while ago, though. And a statement from DR Music's CEO says, quote, "Our exclusive contract with Hyemi has ended, and we are not currently able to get in contact with her. This is the first we are hearing of Hyemi's marriage and divorce. If we had known about this, she would not have joined Black Swan as a member." Unquote. Honestly, her secret marriage and divorce interests me way less than that last sentence. If we had known, she would not have joined. It's very interesting to me how the brand value, I guess you could say, of musicians can tank after you're no longer single. And this is a thing in the USA too, but it seems like significantly more in Korea. Your career is basically over. Sometimes if you're just in a relationship publicly, let alone secretly married, let alone do something that can still be considered taboo, which is get divorced. It's sad that she had to hide that while she was a member. I mean, that's a huge part of your life and a huge person in your life. She probably then had to lie and say he was her boyfriend only, or, I don't know, some other excuse for why he might show up to a show or something, or a rehearsal. That feels like just a huge, endlessly nerve-wracking situation to be in. Sure wish artists didn't feel like they had to hide any part of themselves, but that was the case here. Although, in a positive comment on that front, Bobby from iKON released a sweet message on Instagram the other day confirming that he is engaged and he's going to marry the wife of his new baby on the way next month. Again, what interests me most about that is honestly, well, aside from the fact he looks so young, so to be a parent kind of boggles my mind to see, but what mostly interests me besides that is just, again, the sense of apologies, the sense of, oh my gosh, sorry for surprising them with this news. Disclosure is, in some cases, really not advised for your career. What's very, very, very interesting to me then is the big, truly possibly culture-shifting moment that we're getting from P Nation right now. Because Hyuna and Dawn, once they switched over to that agency, have been able to release music as a duo, work together on photo campaigns, modeling gigs, be seen lovey-dovey together in public. And they still have successful global music careers. And then P Nation just confirmed that Crush is dating Joy from Red Velvet. So the fact they're more transparent about their romantic lives at this relatively new agency feels like the wave of new agencies that may, or at least subsidiaries that may crop up over time, will be a lot more transparent about the private lives of their artists rather than trying to hide as much in the future. It could be a sea change, it could be outlier cases. Either way, that's just the real bigger context that I found interesting about this story. In a separate agency dispute of sorts, Park Yoo-chun, formerly in the band JYJ, is in a dispute with his agency Re Miyavi right now. This company claims he violated his contract because he recently signed a deal with a different agency in Japan. Yoo-chun insists he has the right to sign this contract while still under their contract because he needs the extra money and the work. Because he says he's getting barely paid by them. The CEO of Re Miyavi said in an interview that this Japanese agency, quote, is taking advantage of his weakness and has given him a down payment while signing the contract, unquote. So now they're planning a civil suit against Park Yoo-chun for breach of contract. This is very messy because there are several different stories rolled into one here. One is a pay dispute about what's fair. Then there's a separate discussion you could have about simultaneously holding contracts in different countries with different agencies. Then there's the narratives that are perpetuated, and it's unclear how much truth there is to which narrative. Should this agency be characterized as taking advantage of his weakness, as they say? Which is interesting because in that wording, they seem to imply that getting paid not much is his weakness. His financial status is his weakness. So by saying that, aren't they basically bolstering his claim that he's underpaid by them? It just doesn't seem like that was the best way to word it when it comes time to give testimony, but that's just my thought. How I think this will play out is honestly, I think Yoo-chun will have to pay up. If this civil case really proceeds and doesn't get dropped, he may have to pay a fine or something. If he's gonna win, it would be in a totally separate suit. So maybe he can file a countersuit regarding unfair payment. But I think that issue would be taken out of the context for this specific suit, which says he breached his contract. That is just separate from him saying he's not getting paid fairly. I feel like in terms of not pay, but this separate discussion about being signed to these two agencies, I don't see how he wins that case because that sounds like that's exactly what he did. I have not, of course, read the private fine print of both agencies' contracts, but without having read them, that is my take. We'll get to some better news, but first, some COVID-19 updates. Schumann from EXO has fully recovered now, and he's still set to perform in the musical Hadestown starting September 7th. As for DK from 17's musical Excalibur, it was very surprising because his company issued a notice, so I assumed if it was a notice about Excalibur, it was a cancellation notice due to COVID variants and surges in case numbers. But no, it was just a notice warning attendees that they are strongly advised not to do any after-show fan meetups or anything like that, and to just walk home, not in a big group with other fans, but to leave right away and separately after the show. They're promoting social distancing, but the musical will still go on, which I just found interesting. The really devastating news that I was a true wreck when I heard about for the first time, even though I kind of saw it coming, BTS's Map of the Soul tour is officially canceled. It was postponed indefinitely, but at this point, it's just canceled. Too much uncertainty still. A year later, it's just canceled. You can't get a full refund, but if you gifted someone a ticket, if you transferred your ticket to their account, it sounds like there's not a take-back option. I've been seeing some people online complain that they're trying to get their money back, but if it was a ticket transfer, it's not working. So just be aware that may be an issue you need to talk to customer service about. As for my thoughts on the tour cancellation aside from just devastation, I do think it makes sense not just safety-wise, but material-wise, because BTS's music is so of the moment. It is a diary, it is a snapshot in time, it is their inner world expressed externally through music and videos, and so it already feels like they've mentally moved on from whatever visuals they were going to bring to life for Map of the Soul, an album which already feels like it came out a decade ago. I love live music when I get to watch a story really come to life in front of me, but it's not the same if it's coming to life in front of me well after the anticipation was built up. It's sort of like when you're excited to see the sequel to a movie, but you haven't watched the first movie in years, and so you see the sequel and it's just not the same as if you had brushed up on all of the details more recently. So I don't know, I just think in terms of their headspace, it's probably really good for them to work on creating a brand new musical era, a post-COVID musical era. Last big headline today. There is a new Netflix film on the way called Kate, coming to select theaters as well, September 10th. And I'm going to promote it because it sounds pretty rad, and one of the stars is J-Rock icon Miyavi. Tadanobu Asano is also going to be one of the stars. Woody Harrelson's in it. It's gonna be quite an action-packed movie with quite the cast. Kate is this movie about an assassin who realizes she's been poisoned, so she has 24 hours left to get her revenge, basically, before she's a goner. Then she ends up forming an unlikely bond with one of her previous victims. It sounds like it's got quite the subplot mixed with this suspenseful thriller story, so make sure you go check it out. Let's get to your rapid-fire miscellaneous headlines. The K-Contact lineup continues to expand. As of recording time, all of the acts announced so far that will be included this time around: Dreamcatcher, JO1, Highlight, Kim Jae-hwan, Rain, The Boys, TO1, Woods, B2B, Purple Kiss, Cypher, Ghost9, N-, ONF, aka On and Off, and Mamamoo. My guess is as a threesome instead of a foursome. There really so far is quite the 4th gen K-pop celebration. Other live entertainment to know about: the Joy Ruckus Club is hosting another new show on Live by Live. This lineup includes Everglow, Ace, On and Off, Yours, Yubin, Majors, MCND, Card, Alexa, and Signature. That one, again, is on the platform Live by Live. And that one will be August 28th, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, which I believe is 10 p.m. Central Time Zone. Gaho has an online concert coming the following day, August 29th, 6 p.m. Korean Time, which I believe is 4 a.m. Central Time. And Treasure has a fan meetup October 2nd at Olympic Park in Seoul. But this private stage will have a global live stream option as well. Blackpink the movie is so far the highest grossing cinema release of 2021, despite the fact it was in theaters amid surging COVID case counts and for one weekend only. Around 500,000 attendees went to the event across just under 100 different territories around the world. Honestly, a little surprisingly, it missed the top 5 for the US box office that weekend, but it did get 6th place and grossed over $4.8 million total. Imagine if they had just had a second weekend added to that. There are a ton of different artists who were awarded at the Korean Consumer Forum's Brand of the Year Awards. Just running through some of the names that my listeners will recognize real quick: BTS, Brave Girls, King Daniel, Weekly, aespa, On and Off, From Is 9, Son Ga-in, Wonstein, Day6, Yoo Jae-suk, and Yoo Jae-suk's show, You Quiz on the Block. Winner has decided to renew their contracts with YG Entertainment for 5 more years. Riot Games is officially starting a music label for its digital characters, so clients so far include Pentakill and G-Idol affiliated group KDA. Lee Jae-won from Peppertones is getting married to Bae Dahae, a singer and actor, very soon. The brand new girl group Solia may have just broken a record for fastest disbandment. They disbanded 5 days after their debut. They were kind of promoting and ginning up excitement for their debut starting in mid-June, but their actual technical debut date was this past August 17th. But 5 days later, Space Music Entertainment issued a statement saying, quote, "Due to its circumstances, the company is no longer able to keep Solia going." Due to its circumstances. Unfortunately, I think this is once again an example of the pandemic-induced financial toll on these smaller underdog K-pop companies. And if you're wondering why bother debuting a group if you think there's any chance that you don't have enough money to make music for them past their debut single, why would you debut the group at all? Well, a couple reasons. One is, like I said, they'd been a group for a while already, practicing and preparing since at least mid-June. Unfair to these aspiring K-pop stars to just crush their dreams without even giving them a taste of it. Second is the K-pop industry moves so fast that you've got to plan ahead of time. And so all these artists have their comebacks for the following month scheduled. And comeback schedules get packed quickly and early in the K-pop world. So with the new COVID variants, those really just worked even faster than the K-pop scheduling world. So they may have thought, actually, we're going to build from the pandemic-induced setbacks. Financially, we're going to recover, and we're slowly doing that as people get vaccinated and we turn a corner on this thing. We can take this financial risk in the short term, and it will soon pay off and help us get some revenue again and go back to live shows, things like that. But now the COVID variants are putting a huge dent in that plan. And now that all these events and money-making opportunities for agencies are still delayed indefinitely, they have to once again recalculate if they can even survive as a company if this pandemic goes on much longer. And in their case, they seem to have decided they can hold on, but they have to let one of their groups go. Wow from Ace is enlisting September 10th in the military as a public service worker. Young K from Day 6 is enlisting in October, right after he has his debut solo album release. Gehyun from Very Very injured his foot recently, although he is, as of recording time, still promoting with the band for their latest comeback. He's literally sitting this one out for performances. Meanwhile, Jeongyeon from Twice is just going on a full hiatus right now due to anxiety issues. 17 has announced 17's comeback. It's happening in October. As of recording time, that's all that can be said, but NCT September, 17 October, what a fall for me. Speaking of 17, Junhan, Hoshi, and Mingyu are all on the cover of the November issue of Ginger magazine. Yes, I guess we're already talking about November too. Congrats to Taeyeon, who just surpassed 6 million, well, 6.1 million to be exact, Instagram followers. Twice just became the fastest Korean act to reach 10 million followers on Spotify. Dynamite is BTS's first single to be certified platinum in the UK. Thanks to Jungkook's solo Begin, BTS is now the first artist to get 31 different #1 songs on the Billboard World Digital Song Sales chart, reaching 10 million views. Hyuna with Good Girl, 50 million on Sunmi's You Can't Sit With Us, 100 million for Everglow's La Di Da and Celebrity by IU. Pentagon's new song Care Bears topped iTunes in 10 different regions around the world. TXT's Chaos Chapter Fighter Escape album Repackaged topped iTunes in 15 regions. And Red Velvet's new album Queendom topped iTunes in 50 international regions. The new Stray Kids album No Easy surpassed 830,000 pre-orders, which is 53,000 more than the pre-order number for their first album. In other explosive album sale growth, Sunmi's new album 1/6 over quintupled in sales compared to her last album. Interestingly, this album 1/6 in first week sales topped 16K copies, 16,000. That is all for today's episode. Thank you all for listening, and while I still have your attention, if you want to donate to the victims of both the earthquake in Haiti and the following tropical storm, please do so, but choose groups like Mandoto and Hope for Haiti. Those groups are more localized, making sure that the aid gets to the parts of Haiti it needs to. If you just donate to a place like the Red Cross, it's much less clear who that aid will go to help. So to really target your donations, make sure you keep in mind specificity of location, and choose a group like Hope for Haiti. Alright, thank you all for listening today, and I will talk to you all again very, very soon.